What if a 500-year-old handbook for political survival still guides today's leaders, from presidents to tech CEOs? What if The Prince isn't just history, but operating instructions for power in a screen-connected world? Hello, and welcome to Unfolding Journey. In today's episode, we ask, is Machiavelli's The Prince still a political manual for today's leaders? And should it be? We'll trace Machiavelli's core ideas, see how they show up in modern politics, business, and media, and consider whether today's world still follows his rules, or if we've outgrown them. Before we begin that journey, a few lines about this channel. Welcome to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel, where we explore timeless ideas, stories, and philosophies, and uncover their relevance to our modern lives. From ancient thinkers to modern movements, from ethics to leadership, each video invites you to ask deeper questions about power, purpose, and what shapes the world around us. If you're curious about how history and philosophy illuminate today's challenges, you're in the right place. In The Prince, Machiavelli delivers blunt and unsentimental advice to rulers about how to acquire, hold, and exercise power. His guidance is not about idealism, it's about realism, survival, and control. Some of his core ideas include Realpolitik. Leaders should act based on practical necessity, not morality. If lying, manipulation, or even cruelty ensures the stability of the state, then so be it. Virtù and fortuna. A successful ruler needs virtù, or personal strength and cunning, to shape fate, because fortuna, or chance, is unpredictable. Boldness often wins when luck is uncertain. Lion and fox. A leader must be both strong like a lion and cunning like a fox. Strength without strategy is reckless. Cunning without strength is weak. Image over reality. Leaders should appear virtuous, merciful, honest, generous, even if they are not. Perception, he argues, is often more powerful than truth. One of his most quoted ideas is, "It is safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But he cautions, being feared should not turn into being hated. That distinction is key. If a ruler can maintain fear and respect without cruelty, the power is more sustainable. Though often labeled a cynic, some scholars argue Machiavelli was a political realist, a man who described the world as it was, not as he wished it to be. His advice wasn't necessarily an endorsement of tyranny, but a reflection of the brutal power dynamics of his time. Populism and power building. Today's populist leaders, across the political spectrum, often reflect Machiavellian strategies. They identify disaffected groups, speak directly to them, and create a base of unwavering support. By appealing to fear, identity, or resentment, they gain loyalty. If needed, they shift alliances or scapegoat opposition to stay in control. Modern political leaders also know the importance of maintaining the appearance of strength, even when policy is weak. Creating an image of decisiveness can often win more votes than complex truths ever will. Media and narrative control. In Machiavelli's time, controlling public opinion meant mastering court gossip and manipulating elites. Today, it means controlling the narrative across digital platforms, social media, and 24/7 news cycles. From curated political speeches to viral misinformation, modern leaders use perception management as a tool to shape how the public sees them, whether or not it reflects reality. The ability to dominate headlines often outweighs policy substance. Foreign policy and Realpolitik. Nations still act in self-interest, even if it contradicts stated values. Trade deals, military alliances, and diplomatic moves are often made not on ethics, but on strategic advantage. This echoes Machiavelli's worldview. The state must come first, and morality, while ideal, may be sacrificed for survival. We've seen modern governments justify surveillance, drone strikes, or harsh immigration policies, not necessarily because they align with public virtue, but because they serve national interest. Machiavelli would likely see these actions as natural extensions of power politics. Misinterpretation or reality. Despite his reputation as a promoter of tyranny, many scholars now argue that Machiavelli was warning us more than he was instructing us. His discourses on Livy, for example, praised republican governance and citizen participation. Perhaps The Prince was a case study in what rulers do, not what they should do. Regardless, his fingerprints are everywhere in modern politics, from campaign strategy to crisis management. Machiavelli's insights are not limited to politics. They resonate deeply in today's corporate boardrooms. Adaptability and bold action. Machiavelli warned that introducing a new order is dangerous because people are naturally resistant to change. Still, the leader must act boldly or risk losing control. This speaks directly to CEOs in fast-changing industries. In tech, for example, startup founders and executives must often make bold, even ruthless decisions to stay ahead. Disruption in business isn't just a buzzword, it's a Machiavellian tactic. Seize opportunity before fortune shifts. Managing image. Today's corporate leaders obsess over image. They brand themselves as visionary, ethical, or innovative, even when their internal practices might tell a different story. Layoffs become strategic pivots. Exploitation becomes scaling sustainably. Machiavelli would nod at this. The key isn't being good, it's being seen as good. Fear and internal culture. Some executives still lead with intimidation, believing fear drives results. While Machiavelli said fear is more reliable than love, it only works if hatred is avoided. Toxic workplaces often result when leaders misread this balance. The lesson? Understand power, but use it wisely. Employees today benefit from recognizing these tactics, not to become Machiavellian themselves, but to see the political games at play around them. Is Machiavelli still relevant or dangerous? Does The Prince still work as a guidebook in today's more democratic, transparent, and ethically conscious world? Yes, but with qualifications. Modern democracies are bound by constitutions, watchdogs, whistleblowers, and international oversight. Leaders today can't always get away with the manipulations Machiavelli described. And yet, many still try. Transparency versus deception. While the tools of power may remain the same, image, alliances, fear, the risks are higher. Social media can expose falsehoods instantly. Whistleblowers can leak internal abuse. Machiavelli didn't have to account for viral tweets or investigative journalism. Leaders today must choose: manipulate and risk exposure, or lead ethically and build durable trust. Critical rereadings of Machiavelli. Modern scholars and critics, including feminists and post-colonial thinkers, have called attention to the limitations of The Prince. Whose power does it serve? Whose voices are missing? Most notably, it assumes power is male, hierarchical, and central. But in today's world, leadership also includes collaboration, community engagement, and soft power, all elements that go beyond Machiavelli's framework. His lens remains sharp, but incomplete. So, is The Prince still a political manual for today's leaders? Yes, in that it still reflects how power works, raw, unfiltered, often behind closed doors. Politicians, CEOs, and strategists still use fear, alliances, and narrative control. His insights remain chillingly accurate in many scenarios. But also know, because the world has changed. We live in a time of global accountability, rising demands for transparency, and a shift in leadership expectations. Leaders are scrutinized more than ever. Power today isn't just about control, it's about credibility. Machiavelli's work can no longer be seen as a total blueprint, but as a warning. Power used without ethics leads to instability. Deception without cause leads to collapse. The Prince remains a brilliant mirror of how power works. But whether we use that mirror to reflect or manipulate, that's up to us. Thank you for watching Unfolding Journey. If you found this exploration of Machiavelli's legacy insightful, please hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel to keep discovering how the ideas of the past help shape our present and future. Let's keep the conversation going. Who do you think is the ultimate modern prince today? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you in the next video.